as a kid you always wanted to join the army, or you had a military background, or I mean, how did I know you joined the NDA, that is the National Defense Academy, but how did it happen? I mean, what prompted you to join the Indian Army?
Come from a very humble service class background with all my relatives generally of one generation up, all in government sector. So there was nobody in army. It actually started because the group of friends in class 12, I was a PCM bio, that is PCMB student. And a group of friends, we wanted to travel to Chandigarh. So we filled our forms so that we get to travel to Chandigarh and gave this exam called NDA. And so we never prepared. And we enjoyed our time, gave an exam and came back. And of course, we had to fail. So my mom kind of coaxed me, ki, what are your plans? I mean, and we had some serious conversations with my parents. And that is the time when I actually made a promise to myself that this is one exam which I would like to attempt seriously. And meanwhile, I got motivated. I came to know more about army and I cracked the exam. Then eventually the SSB.
SSB. SSB is Services Selection Board. It is an interview process spread over 5 days. It is a requirement for all the people who want to join any of the armed forces to pass this interview test. Nice. It's a nice, simple story. I mean, not everyone has to be motivated from day one looking at war movies. But yeah, this is a fresh perspective. But then, how was NDA? I mean, was it a rude shock, or was it like a easy glide going through the 6 terms? How did you take it, coming from a completely non-Fauji background?
Neither. It was not a rude shock, definitely, but definitely not a easy glide. As I said, I was a PCM bio, more into chemistry labs and physics labs person. So never took to running, never took to any doing push-ups. I could not do a single push-up when I had entered NDA. And academy has its requirements of physical standards. So, sir, I struggled. I struggled quite a bit for at least a year, first 2 terms, where I had to put in extra. My instructors, my seniors, they literally had to put in extra with me and others like me. But then academy is a place where it brings everybody to the same level. That's the beauty of National Defense Academy, and I'm proud to be part of that. After that, yes, post 1 year, 1.5 years, it was a easy ride. It was a pretty easy ride, I'll say.
But what did you do? I mean, you did things on your own, or people made you do things that made it easier later?
No. It is the quality of instructors, right from the officers to our ustads, be it a PT ustad or be it a swimming ustad, be it a drill ustads. I mean, that's how they shape you up in academy. So it's a joint effort. Unless a cadet is resilient and he actually puts his best foot forward, nobody can work on him, right? So it's a mix. There is the best lot of instructors available for a willing cadet. I think I was a willing cadet. I wanted to do well. I wanted to pass the required grades, and of course not to miss out on academics. So there is a fair amount of academics, unlike a popular perception that army is all about just jumping around maybe or climbing ropes or doing say 100 push-ups. I'm sorry to break the bubble for many, but army is a lot of studies as well, including in academy. So yes, it's a mix of both, I'll say.
To all those people who are thinking they can run away from academics and join the army and army will give them a safe passage, please rethink again. It doesn't work like that. Army is a very tough place. You will be forced to study entire of your service, almost till 45, 50 years of age. Not only that, पढ़ाई होगी, पढ़ाई के बाद एग्जाम होंगे, एग्जाम की मार्किंग की जाएगी, मार्किंग के हिसाब से आपकी ग्रेडिंग फिक्स होगी और ये ग्रेडिंग जिंदगी भर आपके डॉजियर में रहेगी और इसका वैल्यू आपके लास्ट प्रमोशन तक चढ़ेगा. अगर आपको पढ़ाई से भागना है तो फौज में मत आओ, अगर पढ़ाई के साथ भागना है तो पक्का फौज में आओ. So back to you, Vipul.
Back to me, and thankfully back to me, because I would like to add that आप भागोगे नंबर को पीछे और ऐसे इंस्ट्रक्टर जो बाद में पॉडकास्ट ले रहे हैं वो नंबर देंगे भी नहीं. If you remember, sir, you also happen to be my instructor somewhere in between, and I think 8 years service I had, and the fellow who is interviewing me today was my instructor. एंड नंबर नहीं दिए पर उन्होंने, तो नंबर नहीं मिलते. So
Good you remember.
to
Good you remember.
to just stress on the point that there is fair amount of academics.
There's a
in
lot of
Fauj.
academic.
There's a
buildup.
lot of academics.
Interestingly, Vipul, again, like right in the introduction, I said you're one of those rare officers. So you're again one of those rare officers, not only who got, who reached NDA as a cadet, successfully completed his training, but a few years down the line, you came back there as an instructor. And how was that moment? I mean, how did you react when you first got your posting as a NDA instructor?
As you said, sir, that definitely it was a great moment. It was a moment of lot of pride to get posted back to the academy that has made you into an officer. It happened during the same time when incidentally you were my DS and we got our interview call we get interviewed. There's a procedure in place in Army where they screen the officers which they feel based on their merit and performance are eligible to be posted to a academy as instructors. So I went through that screening process and was eventually selected to be an instructor in National Defence Academy. And it was, yes, a moment of pride, a dream come true for me.
Great, I'm sure it was. And how was it then? Like you've been a cadet, now you're an instructor, you are seeing people live your own life 10 years later as a cadet. So it must have been a lot of conflict in the mind. At the same time, there were a lot of life lessons which you could tell a fresh first term cadet that, do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that. So again, if I pull you back in time, I mean, what is it like? Like, what if you had to talk to a cadet today and tell him who's joining tomorrow that what should he expect in NDA and how should he handle all the challenges that will be thrown at him? What would be your 2 cent advice?
See, my 2 cent advice from what I have experienced as a below average cadet to start with, and thereafter proving myself and getting back to the academy, the advice would be that academy is totally equipped to empower any person of that age into an officer material, physically and academically. All that is expected from a cadet is to put his best foot forward. Academy has enough of latitude in terms of the training hours that they can put, extra training that they can impart, or otherwise to actually groom, as we say, they change boys to men. So academy is fully empowered. So my advice at the cost of repetition is just do your bit sincerely. All you need is perseverance, a strong mind, and sincerity. And I think you should be through.